Let me just first, please, I need to confirm if you can hear me loud and clear. So if you can hear me, type in a one in the chat, please. Type a one in the chat if you can hear me. So try to make this session as engaging as possible, so we can have back and forth conversations here and there. So please type in a one in the chat to confirm if you can hear me. All right, I'm still waiting. Can anyone please type in a one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear?
Hi, Olawale, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, but then, okay, good, good. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Ayi. Thank you, Betty, Itua, Jerry. Awesome. Thank you very much. So let me just dive straight into this while we wait for others to join us. Yeah, so like I said, I would like for this session to be as interactive as possible. Trust me, you're in very good hands with myself and Dr. A, our data engineering associate, senior data engineering associate at 10 Analytics, is going to take you a deep dive into what a day in the life of a data engineer looks like. All right. And I promise is going to be an awesome session. So once again, confirm if you can see my screen, Gbenga.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
All right, thank you very much. All right, once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you're listening in from. And based off that, let me just ask a few questions before we get straight into this. So if you're joining for the first time, just type in a yes and tell me your location. You just say, okay, for instance, you're joining from New York, just say yes, New York. If you're joining from Canada, yes, Canada. Use the chat. Tell me where you're joining from. If you're joining for the first time, and where you're joining from, please. Okay, Zatu Gerald is from the yes, Lagos. Okay, please, I need more response. Okay, Android, yes, Canada, yes, Benin, yes, Netherlands. Okay, yes, Germany, yes, Lagos. Awesome, yes, Benin. Okay, I'm expecting more responses. We have over 30 people on the call already. Yes, Toyosi. Okay, yes, Lagos, Toyosi, Nara, Toyosi. All right, awesome. Okay, Obiageli, yes, Nigeria. Okay. Yes, Lagos. Dr. AE, thank you. Nafe, okay, awesome. So let's just deep dive into this. All right. So you're going to be looking at a web scraping project, yeah, using AliExpress product data pipeline. With the AliExpress product data pipeline using Python and SQL. This is something I'm personally looking forward to because I believe there is a lot to learn if in the data engineering space. And this is the basics. This is more or less most of what you'll be doing day to day. So if you get the angle of what is going on here, the concepts, the tools used, the methodologies, trust me, you have already taken the first step into becoming a professional data engineer. So I wouldn't dwell too much on this. I'll let the professional take it and take you on that journey. Just fasten your seatbelt and get ready for it. Okay, all right. So sorry about that. Please bear with me. I've had some back and forth with the internet all day. But I promise I'm going to make this as enjoyable as possible. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me just move straight into the business of the day. First, for those who are just joining us, let me just do a quick introduction about Analytics. Yeah, Analytics is an edtech company. Yeah, our mission, our focus is basically we are passionate about helping Africans and people in the Black community learn premium tech skills by lowering the um, entry barrier into tech. So in our mission, we've seen how people in the Black community are still lagging behind when it comes to their transitioning into tech or enjoying most of the benefits in the tech ecosystem. And there is a lot of data that shows that the people in the Black community and Africans, basically both Africans in Africa and the ones in diaspora, they are not yet taking full advantage of the opportunities in tech. So we are trying to push as many people as possible into the tech ecosystem. We've done for a lot of people, but then there's something special about this month. We are mainly focused on the women for this month because of the International Women um, Day that happened last week. So there's for this month there's a scholarship for the women. So just a quick hint for the women, please hold on to the end of this session, and I have an awesome news for all of you. So our service offerings basically are aimed at building capacity and understanding across different tech fields, majorly data analytics, business analysis, data engineering, which is what this masterclass will be focused on. Then we have data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, Scrum, cybersecurity, and coming soon, AI engineering also. So our facilitators are professionals from the likes of Apple, Microsoft, McKinsey and Company, Amazon, PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, Sahara Groups, and the likes. These are people who have their day job, Monday to Friday, go to work, do their stuff. Then on weekends, they come out to pour all they know in terms of mentorship, in terms of training and all of that into our students. So like I said, our courses are structured in a way that it's very, very practical and you get the optimum value in terms of, so it's beginner friendly, take you from, so they are designed such that it doesn't, we don't care where you're coming from or where your educational background is like. The idea is to just transition you to tech and make you feel like a professional from the very first day. So our founders here are Deiza, Suleiman, and Efemina Ipro. They are both tech professionals. They started this journey about 10 years ago. Both of them didn't have any first degree in tech. They transitioned themselves also. So like I said, it doesn't really matter where you're coming from. You could be a lawyer on this call, you could be a doctor, you could be a civil engineer. But once you are ready to transition into tech, the most important thing is the mentorship. So that mentorship is what we have packaged with enough with our own years of experience, packaged it into short programs that can easily get you into tech. And it's not just the knowledge that we are passing across to you. There are other additional services which I'm going to delve more into during the call. So, like I said, Adeza is the founder, Efemina co-founder, both high-level professionals, over 10 years of experience. Adeza personally has trained over 8,500 students so far. Efemina has over a decade of experience working across multiple sectors as a data scientist. So on this call is myself, Adeshino Olawale. I'm the Chief Marketing and Strategy Officer at Analytics. I have close to a decade of experience in marketing also. 2 years ago, I delved deeply into data analytics. Right now, I'm major in marketing data analytics, help businesses to make sense out of their marketing data. I've been working remote All right, once again, so sorry about that. I think the internet has been a bit glitchy all day, but we'll just manage. Please bear with me while I run through this. So, AE, can you please kindly introduce yourself quickly before I take the last slide, then you come back in to finish off the training part of the session. AE,
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me loud and clear?
yes, very well.
Awesome. So, hi, everyone, once again. My name is Dr. Ehiba Nelson Ogele. I am a data engineer, working as a data engineer in analytics, and I'll be the one taking you guys on a simple ETL pipeline in today's masterclass. My background actually starts out from pharmacy. So I'm originally a pharmacist by profession, and just like the founders, I also tilted from pharmacy into tech, tech. And uh, I've been close to 3 years as a data engineer right now, and it's been exciting. Come to find out that this profession, there's a lot to learn. Other areas of tech have tilted into digital marketing. I've been in digital marketing for about 5 years. That's my background, content creation and all that. Before I wanted something more intense, and I went into data engineering. So we'll get to talk more during my presentation. Thank you so much, and I look forward to interacting more with you guys. Olawale, I think you can take over. Are you there?
All right. So sorry about that once again. So AE, I'll suggest you. Okay, let me just do this one last slide. Then I hand over to you to make a start. All right. Okay. So basically, Dr. AE is going to be taking you through the project, web scraping project. Um, then once he's done, I'm going to show you how to get into the tech, in-demand tech roles, basically the career paths to consider when you want to learn. And I'll focus more on the data engineering career path, because I believe that's what most of us on this call are interested in, and what makes Analytics stand out in terms of our offerings to help you transition into data engineering. Then, of course, like I mentioned, every April cohort, we actually favor women to get into tech. Like from last year, we started an initiative which helps more women to get into tech. So I have a discount for women. We call it the International Women's Day Scholarship. So for the women on the call, please hold on. I have a discount for you. Just hang in there with me. If you know any woman that you think will benefit from this, taking advantage of discount to get into tech, please get them on the call, and I'll be happy to share with them. So, I'll hand over to you at this point to take us through the project, and then I'll come back again. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you for that, Olawale. So just be sharing my screen shortly so that we can all follow through. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, yes.
So the project we'll be working through today is a data engineering project that has to do with web scraping. So we'll be scraping data from an e-commerce. In precise, we'll be using Aliexpress. And we'll be building a data pipeline that will, in an automated fashion, scrape data from Aliexpress. It would take this data in raw format. It would clean the data, transform the data into suitable tables that can be used for building some level of understanding or insight for the company, then storing this data in a database. So, and this is a very simplified data engineering project. Some of the little things will come to it as a data engineer. So the case study, this case study explores the intricate process of whereby we'll be extracting data, like I explained, exclusively from AliExpress, and highlighting the significance of web scraping. And web scraping is a skill that is used commonly, not just by data engineers, but other people in the area of tech to be able to get data from websites. Now, the whole idea of web scraping is that we're not exactly interacting with the back end of a website. And when I say back end, what I mean is the end that has to do with servers, that has to do with where the data is stored. Because we don't have access to it. Most companies, and it's natural, businesses will not give you access to their data. So what we intend on doing with web scraping is that what they put on their website, what is on the front end that you can see when you open your browser, this is what we want to scrape. So just as this name implies, web scraping, we're scraping the data from these regions. And we are going to be scraping this data and storing this data in tabular form in a database. So the problem statement basically lies with the task focuses on navigating the complexities of and extracting vast and varied data solely from the AliExpress website. Now, the primary challenge lies in an efficient ethical extraction process. Now, in as much as web scraping is a very beautiful procedure, it's not exactly 100% ethical. Because sometimes some people use that to be able to go and collect information that normally shouldn't be so. So whenever you want to web scrape a data, you must always ensure that you adopt or agree or follow the terms and conditions of the platform that you want to extract the data from or scrape the data from. So this is why it has to be you have to adopt the ethical policies that rely with those data. So ensuring integrity, structure of the information for analytical purposes. Now the goal for us here as data engineers is that we want to be able to establish and build a scalable data pipeline that can handle continuous updates and evolving nature of web data. Now, you ask me, what is a pipeline? Normally, these data that are on this website, I can manually go and be extracting them one by one. All that will be manual. Imagine if I had to go through AliExpress website and look at laptops and I'm seeing 60 pages and each page contains about 40 different products. I have to manually now go and extract image, put it somewhere, extract the title, put it somewhere, extract the price. All that will be a very lengthy, it will take me a couple of days. But with the aim of what we're trying to achieve using a data pipeline, we can automate the entire process. And in a few minutes of running some code, we've been able to extract all the data from all the pages, align in a table and stored somewhere in a few seconds. That is what we use pipelines for. And as data engineers, we are the champions of building data pipeline because no one understands the data infrastructure like us. So our objective will be to effectively scrape data from AliExpress website, ensuring minimal disruptions to the site functionalities. So we're going to be doing our team getting data, and we're not going to be interfering with any of AliExpress functionalities. We're going to clean this data and standardize the script data, guaranteeing high quality and uniformity. Then we're going to restructure the data because the data we'll be extracting directly from AliExpress will come in a very raw format, a dirty format. So we're going to restructure the data into organized table, optimized for querying. Hence, if we want to access the data for information, we can easily do that and be more consistent. Then we're going to securely migrate the transformed data to a Postgres server, to a database that will adhere to data governance policies. And finally, we're going to devise a scalable and maintainable infrastructure capable of adapting to a new data requirement and formats. Then some of the benefits that we'll get from this project. Now, by doing this project, I hope to push to you guys who I anticipate as prospective data engineers several advantages. Number one, skill enhancement. Some of you never thought this was possible? Like, how do we do this kind of thing? Is it possible to get information from a website without interacting or paying anything? Yes, you can. So we're going to introduce you to some level of skill enhancement. Then complex problem solving. This issue is actually quite complex if you think about it. But so we tell you, I will show you a little. I'll walk you through a little through the journey of how we data engineers come together to think our way through complex problems. Then we'll show you a bit about data quality and integrity. Why it's important to build when handling data, we have to take into quality and integrity to measure. And there will also be performance optimization. The aim of using a pipeline is to optimize the entire process so that we don't have to start manually doing things one by one. And that is where performance optimization comes in. Scalability and maintenance. Now, today I have 60 pages. What if tomorrow I have 100 pages or 1,000 pages? Will our pipeline break down when the data scales, high or low? So we take this into consideration when building our pipeline, and I will show you guys as we proceed. And finally, real world application. All this I'm doing is not just for experiments. These are things that you actually come across using in real life cases. So hence you see that this little project that we'll show you guys today can actually have a very, very high impact use case in real life. So this exploration into web scraping serves as an excellent platform for data engineers to expand their expertise, tackling real world data. Apologies for that. I think if you're in Nigeria, we're all experiencing a very beautiful network today. So apologies for that. But you all can see my screen. You can see my screen. You can give me, you can say one in the chat so that I can do, oh yes, you can see my screen. Am I good to go? Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, good. So I have one here and yeah, let's go. So like I said, we're going to be using Python as our primary building block language for writing and for building the entire infrastructure. We're going to use SQL. When we successfully loaded the data into a database, SQL is going to be the language that we're going to data from Aliexpress. We have to store it somewhere. So we are going to be storing it. Sorry for that again. Wow, seems like today is just being a very, very funny scenario of issues, network issues. First was Olawale, now it's me. I hope this does not interact or disturb our beautiful section today. So Postgres, like I said before, is going to be the storage destination area where we're going to be putting our data that we have scraped from the internet. Then we're going to just use Lucidchart or Draw.io to draw the entity relationship diagram that will show the relationship between the table. So we're going to do all of this. So what do you need to do such a project? Anyone can do this project. You all here can replicate the same project. What you need a normal good working computer that has preferably Windows operating system installed. Minimum of 4 gig RAM should be enough to carry out this project, actually. Minimum. You have 8 gig RAM, 16 gig RAM, 32 gig RAM, that's also. But minimum of 4 gig RAM would be awesome. You need good internet, of course, because you're going to be scraping data from the internet. So you need good internet to be able to scrape the data. You're going to need an internet browser, preferably Google Chrome, because we are going to be using this package called Selenium. And it's going to be a Chrome extractor for stabilizing web pages. And we'll explain a bit more when we get there. So preferably Google Chrome. You can use Mozilla, but just because what I'm going to use for this particular case scenario, I'm showing you guys with Google Chrome. So preferably Google Chrome. Plus, I think Google Chrome is probably one of the best browsers. Okay, then we have Python packages that we'll be using. We'll install some Python packages, libraries that will enable us, that will provide us with the necessary functions to carry out this. Now, what this packages really are is that, when Python is coded, Python is an open source language. It's a language that you don't pay for to use. That's what open source means. And in that regard, it means that people make contributions to Python. So for example, just like how you have in a calculator, there's already programmed into the brain of a calculator what will be able to calculate for things like factorials and the rest. So you don't have to start manually counting it the manual way anymore. Just that is basically what packages have. Certain steps, certain procedures, people have already coded the long, lengthy 5-10 pages code and put all of that inside functions, such that all I just have to do is just to install this package into my Python environment and call on this. And automatically, it does all that 10 pages worth of code inside that function anytime I call that function. So we're going to be using a good number of these kinds of functions. It requires Beautiful Soup, Selenium, Pandas, SQL. And we'll talk a bit more when we're doing the work. Then our PG admin is going to be our software for hosting our Postgres SQL server. We'll use VS Code as the general IDE environment for writing our code. Draw.io is the tool we'll use for drawing our diagrams. Then you can also work with Anaconda if to install your Python extension, although most computers tend to come with Python. So you can choose to use the Python engine of Anaconda or that of the normal Windows. So our data architecture. Of course, when you come and learn more about data engineering, I'll teach you how to draw beautiful architectures like this. So it's architectures like this I draw with Draw.io. So basically showing you our roadmap for this particular project. The data will start from Aliexpress, and everything, all of this will happen inside a Python environment, whereby we'll extract the data from Aliexpress, transform the data into suitable format, and load the data into our final destination, following the ETL principle: extraction, transformation, and loading. So what is the project scope for this project? We'll start off from extraction, extract the data. We use libraries such as Beautiful Soup, Selenium, Scrappy for scraping this data from AliExpress. Then we'll carry out data cleaning and transformation. We'll clean the data to remove discrepancies, remove missing values, and the rest. Then rearrange the data into a relational database friendly format. That is what we mean by transformation. Then we'll now use Python to load the data into a Postgres database. So we are going to be, this is AliExpress, we are going to be searching for laptops on AliExpress, and we are going to be scraping this information in a tabular format. Excited? Who is excited about it before we get into it? If you're excited, give me a 1. Okay, I think I've used 1 before. Give me a 5 now. If you're excited, give me a 5 in the chat. Let's get into this. Wow, people giving me the 5. It's coming up. It's coming up. What? I'm only saying, wow. Okay, awesome, awesome. So even me, I'm excited. So let us get into it and see how we get there. Now, I'm going to be writing code. I know many of us have not used to coding before. Just try and follow me. Just try and follow me. If you come to join us at Aliexpress, then we definitely will get to interact more and gist more about it. But just follow me as we go. So we'll click on this link and it will take us to where we'll extract our data. So let's click on it and it takes us. I've already searched for the data, so it's just taking us directly. So on a normal day, where do you start up from? You go to AliExpress website, you search for this. Oh, you search for laptops. Okay. laptops. I want to put these laptops in for me. I want to do a research or analysis on it. You scroll down, how many pages does it have? We have up to 60 pages. Now imagine, and I'm guessing this has how many products? Probably how many products per page? Maybe 40 or more. This is a lot. Imagine I had to start getting all this information, such as product name, product price, discount, shipping price. Just think about it. Would that not be a very long time doing all of this? So we then now have to code it. So where do we start up from? Now, I am going to open a place, a folder where I'm going to be doing everything. Now, first things first, I am going to open my coding environment where I'm going to write the code. So I open my VS Code. So this is my VS Code. Now, in our VS Code, we are going to be working with a Python notebook. So I am going to create a Python notebook. I'm going to call it Aliexpress. Aliexpress. I think I should zoom my screen because not everybody is using glasses like me. So some people will not be able to see the thing. So let me just zoom it. I think we can all see it clearly now, right? Can't we? Awesome. So I zoomed in quite a bit. Yeah, awesome. So I'm going to call it AliExpress pipeline. And this is a Python notebook. So I'm going to do that. That is open there. Awesome. So my Python notebook is open up. Now, being that my Python notebook is opened up, I did mention before that we have a couple of packages that we would need to install in our Python environment. These packages. So before we set out to writing our codes, we need to ensure that these packages are installed, these libraries are installed in our Python environment, such that we can proceed to writing our codes with ease. So to do that, I'm going to call this installing Python packages. And I am just going to be installing all my packages all at once. Now, of course, I'm going to need to select my Python engine, and I will be selecting one of my Python engines. I have different ones. I'll be selecting one of them. And in there, I'm now going to use the code to install my packages. So I'll say pip install. And what are the packages that I will be installing? I'll be installing pandas, because normally not all computer and Python packages come with pandas. I'll be installing requests. I'll be installing beautiful soup 4. Now, beautiful soup 4 is one of the packages we use to scrape data from the internet. So, of course, I'm going to install it. Pandas is used for manipulating data. So when we've scraped the data and the data is in a raw format, it's pandas we'll use to manipulate it, to clean the data and do other kinds of transformation to the data. Request is also one of the tools we'll use when interacting with web scraped data. Then we'll install Selenium. Selenium is one of the packages we will install. Then besides Selenium, we would also install let's check that again. So then we'll also install SQL Alchemy. So SQL Alchemy. So this we'll use SQL Alchemy to interact with our database. SQL Alchemy, that's what we'll be using to interact with our database. Now we have all of these. Well, normally I can choose to install it one by one, but since we know all the packages we're going to be using, let's just install all of them one at once. So we'll run this, take a bit. Now, of course, prior to doing this, I've already installed all these packages. So they'll tell us already satisfied, already satisfied, already satisfied. But if you're at home and you're redoing this for the first time, again, by yourself, it will run and it will install all the packages. Okay, failed to due to timeout. There was a timeout, so we're going to restart our kernel. We're going to try and restart our kernel. So it's connecting to our Python kernel. No, it keeps failing. It's running now. So it's running now. You see, it's finally connected to our kernel and it's running now. So we're just going to wait for a bit for it to run. When you run, you see information. So you see everything satisfied and run because, oh, there was a mistake in there. There's nothing like beauty, beautiful soup. Beautiful soup. Let's run all of that again. So that everything installs. Beautiful. So is it all of them already satisfied because I've installed it before? Well, if you're doing this for the first time, you need to install all of them. So we've connected to our database. Now, the next thing we're not going to do is we're going to now need to import all the necessary libraries that we'll be using. All these packages that we installed, we're now going to import them into our notebook so that we can use them in writing our codes. So that's what I'm going to do next. Importing necessary dependencies or libraries. So the first one I'm going to import is request. I'm going to be importing request because I will use request for this small letter. So when coding, sometimes some things are capture sensitive. So we're going to import request. Then we're going to import beautiful soup. So to import beautiful soup, the code to import it is import BS4 from BS4 rather. From BS4, import beautiful soup. So beautiful soup. Then another thing that we are going to import would be RE. This one comes with request. This one comes with your normal Python package. So that's the normal library that you import. Then we're going to import pandas for manipulation. So we're going to import pandas as PD. Then for our Selenium, we're going to import Selenium. So from Selenium, we're going to import WebDriver. Then we are from selenium.webdriver.chrome.service. We're going to import what? We're going to import service. Then from selenium.webdriver.common.by, we're going to import by. So all of these packages are very important when writing the codes to extract our website, to script our website. So from Selenium, again, .webdriver.chrome.options, we are going to import what? Options. Then finally, we're also going to import the function, the time. And the aim of time is to be able to time how long we want to stabilize our website. So I'll come to explain that when we get into the actual code for the scripting. So finally, our SQL came in because we are going to be using this to interact with our Python, with our Postgres server. So we're going to import create_engine. So these are all the commands that we're going to run for our imports. So we run it by using Control or Shift Enter, and it runs. Now, that runs. Now, the first rule of scripting, before you proceed to script any website, you have to check if that website makes it if that website is feasible to scrape data from. Now, not all service providers are generous enough to allow you to scrape their data. So some of them restrict you from doing it. And so in order to be able to check if a website will allow you to scrape data from it, we check for what we call response or status code. So we're going to now write a code to test for response. And the response that we are looking for is called response 200. Response 200. Now, just to show you, for some of you that might be interested, you can just do a little bit of research by typing the word HTML response codes. Response code. So sometimes you notice that sometimes when you're trying to access websites and you're seeing some kind of code, error 400, error 404, what do they mean? You can come here and read up about it. So usually that error 400 you usually see on website is telling you bad because maybe server is down, internet is down, you're trying to access a website or something, payments and all of that. So those are all the errors. To what we call a variable. Here we'll copy inside in between these two apostrophe signs or quotation signs. We're going to come here and copy that website, this URL for the scraping. So we copy that and we'll go back there and we'll paste it. So paste it. So upon pasting it, we then now check R equals to requests dot get brackets URL. So you see that function that we imported here. You see how we're now using it here. So if not, we would have probably had to type maybe one lengthy code that we'll all sleep here still typing the code for. So this will help us get the response. So we can then now print that response to see it ourselves. So we say print out to see what the response is. So by the time we run this, if this website will allow us to scrape, we're going to get a response. A response, what? 200. So let's see if this website will allow us scrape data from it. So what do you see? Response 200. So we're good to go. We can scrape data. Now, when scraping data from a website, there are what we call static web pages, and there are what we call dynamic web pages. Now, in a very simple case scenario, I wouldn't have had to use a package called Selenium. And I wouldn't have had to use all of these importations that had to do with Selenium. But the reason why I had to use Selenium is because the website, it turns out that Aliexpress website is a dynamic web page. Now, when the web page is static, it means that the guys that built the web page didn't really do so much in terms of heavy coding into that web page. So many times the web page code stays static. So if you look at inside websites, those that are slightly familiar with HTML, they're what we call tags and attributes. Tags and attributes. And so usually these tags and attributes remain static. They don't change in a static web page. But in a dynamic web page, from time to time, to prevent web scrapers from scraping information, so they use a dynamic web page that will be rotating these classes and these and attributes, tags and attributes all about, such that if you try and scrape today and you run this code and you try and scrape it again by evening, it might have changed. And if it ends up changing, you realize that there will be an issue. You will not be able to scrape the data that you need. It will not start returning you error. Your code will stop working. So we noticed, in terms of trying to prepare this, I noticed that the website was a dynamic website, a web page. And because of that, hence I now had to now incorporate Selenium. So Beautiful Soup allows us scrape, but what Selenium does is that it will stabilize the movement of the website such that we can then now scrape from the stabilized web page. if you get. So Visual Studio primarily is what we use for scraping, but we'll use Selenium to stabilize the page so that we can scrape from it without. Wow, I'm not seeing anything. It doesn't make sense. Do I have to, should I explain it again? Are we all there? I think everybody's quiet. Hello, guys. Are we listening? Okay, I'm hearing saying yes. Okay, awesome, awesome. You guys are. So the knowledge, the explanation on static and dynamic web pages, is it a bit clear, or do I have to go over it again? And why we need to use Selenium? Okay, awesome. So I'm getting it clear. So great. So we then now proceed. So now I'm going to now show you a sample of how it looks like. So to do that, let's write our code for the just a sample of that. So I'll call this configure. So we have to first configure the Selenium Chrome driver options. Now, when you're going to use Selenium, there's a particular software you're going to have to download for your Google Chrome. So the software is called Chrome Driver. So you're going to go to Chrome and you're going to download it. Now, Chrome Web Driver. So you just go to the website. Now you will see different versions of Chrome Web Driver. How do you know the one that is compatible for your Google Chrome? To know that, you can open your Google Chrome, just go to the settings, and once it opens up, you will see the version of your Chrome. So you go to the About. So you see that you're using a version 1.22. So you're going to download the one that is compatible with Chrome version 1.22. So you see that this, for example, you see that this is compatible with 1.14, and we are using 1.22. So if we download this Chrome, will face compatibility issues. So you saw there that if you're using Chrome 1.55 or newer, so that fits into us, you're going to consult this place to get the Chrome web browser driver that is suitable for you. So we go there to check that out, and we can now see the different Chromes, and you see this one, you see ours is 1.2. So this perfectly would fit ours. So we can then now download what is for our computer. I use the Windows 64 bits. So this is what I'll be downloading. And you click the link to download. So you just go to the link and it will download automatically. Now, that's pretty much it. So you download it. Now, when you download it into your computer, you unzip it. I've already unzipped it. It's exactly the same file. This is it. So when you open it up, this is the Chrome driver. So this is the file that we are going to be using in that code, in the next set of code that we're going to write, because you're going to need this to be able to read the website. So the command for configuring it is use option. So option as a variable equals to options. Then the next step is to option headers, option.headless. Now the aim of this is to be able to spin up a Google Chrome mode or browser that will run down your website in what we call headless format. So without you doing anything. So equals to true. That's the next thing. Then we are going to now say service. Service equals to service in brackets. In brackets, then we're going to say executable path equals to. Now, in here, we're now going to put the path extension to this our Chrome driver. Now, the beauty of using a package like VS Code, I opened my entire folder and VS Code is showing me everything inside that folder. So I can see this file here. So I just come here to copy the path and I paste it here. So that gives me the file path to that file. Yeah. I use R because to avoid Unicode error. So then the next step is to now initialize the web driver. And how do you do that? By saying driver equals to WebDriver.chrome in brackets, service equals to service, comma, option equals to options. So this set of command is what I'll use to now initialize the driver. Then the next thing is I will now define the URL I want to use. So the next step is to define the URL I want to stabilize. So here is basically this URL I want to stabilize. So I can just copy this URL and paste it. Then the next step is to now use Selenium to open this URL. Since I've now been able to initialize Selenium and tell what Selenium is. So I'm going to use Selenium. So use Selenium to open the page, URL page I just defined. So I'll say driver.get in bracket what URL. And the next thing I'm going to now do. Now, of course, if I tell Selenium to open the page, I cannot just leave it open forever. I have to time it so that my system does not hang. So I will now set a timer. So this timer will be able to count and wait for the dynamic content to load. So once you load the timer, before I'll set a timer so that it will close after a certain period. So sleep after what 10 seconds. So I think that should be good enough. The 10 seconds I can be able to extract all the information I need. So get the page source because I'm going to use the page source for my coding. So get the page source and close the browser. So in that 10 seconds while it's open, I'll get the page source. So this is really the extraction information I need. So that will now be driver dot what page source. And afterwards, I will then now driver dot quit brackets. So this is basically the code. Now we're going to test this code out. Now, when we run it for a test, you will see that a page will spin up and we're able to see the page real quick. So it's running. There's no error in our code. Everything works very fine and perfect. You'll see that it will spin up a web page that will show, see, it just came up. Are you seeing that? That's how it will come up. So what the computer is now doing right now, as the page is loading, it will go through the page and start scraping the information you need. And once the information has been scraped, it will close it, the page, based on what we have instructed the computer to do. So it's loading. We're having a little bit of network challenge. I think that our Nigerian network is not favoring us right now. It's coming up. Okay, so it's opened up, but we had a little bit of Nigerian network challenge. But that's pretty much, you saw what I was trying to tell you. So essentially, a page like that could come up extract all the information you need and close. So that's a test run. Now we're going to we're not going to basically replicate this. We're now extracting this information we need. Now we're going to build the extraction layer of our pipeline. So the extraction layer of our pipeline. Now to build that extraction layer, we're basically going to repeat the first steps of code that we did here for configuration. So we're going to do that. And the next thing is that we're going to list the information we want to scrape from this website. And what are the information we're going to scrape for this website? I'm just going to show them to you now. So this information that we're scraping for the website, we're going to be scraping the product name, the list, the price, the store link, the shipping price, extra discount, items sold, sales price, original price, discount price, and shipping fee status. All of this information per product, I'm going to be extracting them from this product. Now, let's see, look at something. Remember that our page had how many pages? 60. Now, because of time, we're not going to do the entire 60. We're only going to do like the first 3 pages. Because of time. So I'm going to specify the pages. So how do I specify the pages? So we specify this is the number of pages that we're going to extract, and we're going to extract 3 pages. 3 pages. So now we're going to now write the code that would extract this information from each page one by one. And to do that, I'm going to use what we call a loop. So we're going to say for page. Now, the code is a bit complex. And this is the sort of thing that when you come into the training and you spend time with me, you come to understand in the entirety. But this is just for you guys to appreciate how we are able to use the knowledge of coding and Python as a data engineer to extract all of this information at once. So it's quite a lengthy code. And I'm just going to show you guys the code. Right. Because of time, I'm just going to just show it to you guys. So here we go. Somebody said, wow, Omo, Doc, is it my head that will write all this code? Yes, definitely. It's your head that will write all this code. Don't be scared. So it's a very easy code. So what do we do first? We created a for loop that pretty much we are telling in this loop that pretty much go through each page from number 1 to number 3 and extract the information from each page. And based on the information we're going to be extracting, we're going to be extracting the product name, skipping it if they are there, extract the information. But apparently, if there's no information like store link for a particular product, instead of skipping through that place, leave that region as blank. That's what we did here. And we repeated the same thing for the rest. So if there's shipping price, extract it. If there's no shipping price, leave it as blank. If there's discount price, extract it. If there's no one, leave it as blank. And we did all of that there. Now, as we now finish, so what this code will do is page 1, first product, it extracts all the information. The very moment it finishes extracting those information, it will put the information inside this place like a holder, or we call it a list in Python, to put it there. So it will go there again, get the price, put all of that, put it in price, put it in the store, and store all of that for product 1. Once it has done that for product 1, it will roll over to product 2, roll over to product 3. Once it does all the 40 pages in page 1, then afterwards, it will rotate to page 2, do all the same thing, rotate to page 3, do all the same thing. And once it has finished extracting, we quitted our driver, just like how we did here in our test sample. That's pretty much it. Now we've extracted all of that. We now have to put them inside a table. And this is the sets of code that we will then now use to put them inside a table. So that's the code. So we extracted each of them into separate lists. Product name had it list, price had it list, store list had it list, and all of that. Now we now put them under a table and made these ones the column name. Or rather, in actual Python terms, this is actually called a dictionary. And it's that dictionary we put into the table. So this will serve as the column name for product names. This will serve as a column name for price. This will serve as a column name for store names and all of that. Then after we'll put all of this into a table. And so many times someone looks at this and they tell me, but the code is long. No, it's not long because many times it's like a story you're telling. And when you're writing a story, do you go into writing a novel thinking that you're going to write 1,000 pages? No, you just keep telling the story step by step by step. And before you know it, you're at page 100 or page 1,000. And that's pretty much what we did from the beginning. We started from the narrative of what? Installing our package, then what? Importing the package, then testing for response, and testing for our Selenium to see how our Selenium works. Then now writing the main code for extraction and putting all this information into the table. And now we run and see. So just like before, a page opens up. Let's hope that network does not disturb us this time around, but I'm hoping that the network is working perfectly. So you get to see it live. It will actually show you page 1. Once you finish extracting all the information from page 1, it will rotate to page 2, it will rotate to page 3, then this window will now close. So honestly, oh God, it seems like network does not want us to get to our destination, but let's keep our fingers crossed. So as you can see, it's on page 1. Wow. This is why I said we needed a good internet network for this particular code. So it seems like that is not going to work, but let's see. Okay, I think it's coming up now. Let's rerun this again. If it doesn't work, then I will have to use because I've already extracted the data in the past. So I'm just going to have to just continue from there with using the data I extracted. But ideally, this is just due to network issue. It should come up. So we'll just try it again. If this doesn't work, then we'll continue with the data set that we have already extracted because we've already extracted it. And I will show you the data set that we already extracted and how it will come up. Okay, seems like this one is going to work. So it's loading. Normally we had a very high network, and this will probably just take a few seconds to load. But the network is being beautiful, like how MTN is being beautiful tonight, then it might be a bit slow. So you will come to realize that when using just Beautiful Soup for a static website, you realize that it's actually running the page, the codes are actually pretty fast. But because you know what Selenium is doing on the back end of things is actually stabilizing the website. If you're going to be extracting from multiple pages, Selenium can be a bit slow, and that is like the drawback. Like yesterday when I was running this when I tried test run this on 60 pages, the whole 60 pages took 9 minutes to run. So it was going literally going page by page, page 1, page 2, page 3. And before you got to page 60, it took about 90 minutes. So that's why. But then again, my network was able pretty much extremely fast yesterday. Okay, so page 1 is coming up. Okay, we're even on page 2. So it seems like it has finished extracting page 1. And we're now on page 2, as you guys can see. So page 2 is loading. And once page 2 is done, it will rotate to page 3 and finally close. So let's fingers crossed that our network does not fail us. Okay, so looking at it, loading. So she will take to page 3 pretty soon. Maybe I should have just left it at page 1. Probably would have left it. But okay. So it's loading. Wow. Probably we should just leave it at page 1. But I don't want to stop this since this we're already halfway through. So uh, it's going to be called PDF. So in that table that is going to be called DF, in a new cell below, so in a new cell below, when we want to now check out or see the top 30 rows, we'll say df.head is in the 30. And when we run this, so when that run, this will run afterwards. But run this, we'll be able to see the first top 3 heads. So let's see if it has rotated to page 3 yet. Oh, this is taking so long. I think I should close this and just leave it at page 1. So that will end up wasting time. Just leave this at page 1. So just leave this at page 1. So it's just extracts from the first page and we're good to go. We don't waste our time on too much, waiting for too long. Just extract from page 1 and we are good to go. Network seems to be fast. Okay, it's coming up. It's coming up. So should be scraping the data now. So once it's done scraping, the web page will close, just like I told you. And you see all the data that it scraped. So it's running, it's loading. So it should almost be done. show. Wow. One page is taking so much time. It shouldn't take this long. I don't know. Nigerian network isn't so great today. Okay.
All right, everyone. I think the network issues has been so serious, especially in this part of the world, in the past few hours now. But I believe AEC has a few more things to show us, and he is going to join back shortly. And thank you for your patience. Okay, so I guess while we wait for AE, I want to believe he still has one or two things to finalize on what he's doing. I think I'll just take this a step further by showing you what data engineering actually looks like, what the program actually looks like at Tenalytics, take you through what the course is going to look like once you join. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a special discount for women on this call to just hang in there with me and manage through the network, and we'll see how we are able to pass that message across quickly. All right. Hey, please, once you're back, let me know so I can hand over to you to finish up. So while we wait for him again, I'll just run through what the data engineering program on Tenalytics looks like, and then how you can lash into the um, the discount that we have presently. The discount is open to 300 women and 50 men, because when we started this last year, the women and the men complained that we didn't carry them along, so we had to include them this period. So basically, what does the overview of the data engineering program? First, you must know is 100% virtual learning and instructor-led, meaning you have instructors like Dr. Eye here, who is going to go through the class based off projects online, so everybody connects from all corners of the world to learn basic skills. So it's something just like something similar to this. You can always stop him at any point, ask questions, and follow through on what is showing. Then, of course, there are hands-on practical sessions with videos, exercises, and projects. So you see now you are doing something related to Aliexpress. So in class, you might be doing something related to, say, Flutterwave, for instance, might be doing something related to Jumia. So you're actually working based off projects. Yeah, based off practicals and all of that. So it's not just some theoretical learning, but more practical hands-on, showing you things you would do day to day as a data engineer. Then of course the recordings, the videos, the class materials, you have a lifetime access to them. So you can always go back to them even after your training and then delve back into some things you probably forgot or you need to practice on some other things. So there are 20 classes, over 20 classes and 50 topics that you will run through the time of the project. And presently in Nigeria, the average salary for a data engineer is 8 million naira. And the average salary for a data engineer in the UK is over 52,000 pounds. In the US, it's over 100,000 pounds. In Canada, almost the same amount also. Then another good thing is you'll be working up to 10 projects that you'll be adding to your portfolio. The advantage of this, and one thing that is most important for those who are getting into the tech ecosystem newly, is the fact that projects and portfolios are highly valued. Yeah, so it's easy to say you can do this, do that, do that. Not even in this world of AI. You could tell AI to tell you how to be a data engineer, and then you can say all of that to an HR manager and all of that. But then, what are the projects you have done? What is your portfolio like? So throughout this program, you're going to have over 10 projects to add to your portfolio. Then, of course, 100% job prospect visibility, meaning we are partnering with a lot of recruitment companies. Once you're good with your training, you've done your projects, you've done your internships with us, and you are top in your class, there are companies who have already partnered with who are interested in taking some of our students. So there is that prospect for you once you are done with the training. Then, of course, there is the industry relevant certification that you get after the training to show that you are a certified data engineer professional. Then finally, the training for data engineering is 5 months, and then 3 months of active training, 2 months of virtual internship. Internship meaning, just as the word says, internship, you're actually working on real life. So we simulate a real life work environment where you work on real projects from some of our clients, projects that are dummy data. You work on them day to day. You submit them at a particular time in the week. Your facilitators will check them and look at what you've done and give you feedback based off that. So that internship program is actually one of the major things that makes us stand out, because that is where you now get grounded based off the knowledge you already have. Whatever you've learned in the past 6 months, it's basically instructor led. Now go ahead and do those things for yourself over a period of 2 months, and then you get feedback from your facilitators and coordinators and the like. So with all of this, you're already grounded into the data engineering space. No, so now how do you become a data engineer? Let me show you what the training program itself looks like from top to bottom. First, you start with the basics, introduction to data engineering. Yeah. Then you learn Python, SQL. I was delving deep into some Python programming, SQL, and all of that just now. Then from there, you move on to Bash commands and version control, Linux and GitHub. Some of those things also, I believe he would have touched on them if the network has permitted us. Then, of course, there's data modeling. How do you arrange this data? Because if you're moving all of this data, look at all the data he has been able to scrap the other time. Moving them into a database, there is what we call data modeling, such that arrange it such that is useful by the data analyst and data scientist. Yeah, so you learn how to do that. Then you learn pandas. Pandas is a package in Python that is mostly used by data professionals to be able to make data decisions and analyze data quickly, and data manipulation. Then you have the Apache PySpark. You have data extraction also, under the things that you also learn. Then you have data transformation, data cleaning and transformation. So when you get all of this data, look at all the data that you got from Aliexpress. How is he able to clean that data and transform it to make it useful for the purpose of for the purpose of analysis? Now you also be learning cloud computing with Amazon Web Service, because it has to do a lot of data storage, data warehousing, and how do you keep those data? How do you manipulate all of this with the cloud platforms? So you learn some cloud computing. Then you also learn some AWS Web Service facilities and tools. So this is what, So this is what the training program in data engineering looks like. And you finalize with data pipeline and orchestration. That is what I've mentioned there is a path to becoming a data engineering professional. And some of it is what Dr. E has touched on. This data pipeline and orchestration is something he's doing now, building a data pipeline from scraping data, storing it somewhere, and then being able to put it out again in another ways for it to be easily used by data analysts for their analysis. So like I said, following through all these parts, at the end, you become a master data engineer in no time. So I'll move quickly again to show you why you should train with Analytics. All right. And there are a few facts that makes us stand out amongst competition because we are very phenomenal at helping people get jobs. Like I said, training for any tech role, the internet has a pool of, should I say, an endless ocean of knowledge for you to learn and do things, to learn about whatever it is you want to do in the tech ecosystem. But then there is the additional services that we have at Analytics, the mentorship that we bring into it, the employability services that's added to it, that we have tried and tested, and we have helped over 2,000 students transition from the class to their first career, for their first tech jobs in UK, US, Canada, and the likes. So I'm going to share more about that shortly, just so you understand more about what I mean. And of course, we have industry standard facilitators, and our curriculums are up to date. Our facilitators are for our top professionals in most of the best companies you can think of in Nigeria and on the global stage. And their curriculums are basically things that they do day to day in their work. They come to the class on the weekend and pour it out on their students. Then again, our training programs are blended and made to accommodate everybody, irrespective of their learning type. For instance, some people learn faster than the other. So we have what we call, after the live classes that you have on Saturdays, we have watch me do videos. These videos literally prepare you for the coming class for the next weekend. So if you do introduction to data engineering today, and the next weekend you're supposed to do introduction to Python and SQL. So when you do introduction to data engineering on Saturday, we give you the watch me doing videos on Sunday to prepare you for the next class on Saturday, which is introduction or Python and SQL. So you watch that video and prepare yourself for the class. You understand? So that's what we mean by watch me doing videos to prepare you for an upcoming class. And this is to able to carry along both fast learners and slow learners. And mind you, during the week also, there are drop-in sessions where whatever it is you learn in the weekend, you can always come back and then share your knowledge with students who are not learning so fast, or ask questions from students who are already learning so fast, and from your coordinators and facilitators as well, so that you can be up to speed with everyone. Then we have tailored sessions to position you for landing job. That's what we'll talk about. CV reviews. We'll help you review your CV. So your CV, will look at your CV from wherever career path you've been coming in from. How do you merge that into your data engineering career path? So we have CV review sessions to help you do that. We have LinkedIn optimization sessions where we'll make it possible for potential employers to find you on LinkedIn. How do you optimize your LinkedIn account such that you show up in searches for data engineering professional? And of course, we have interview preparation. So we encourage our students to start applying from this second week of class. Start applying for you, just so you have a feel of what it looks like. And we also have application trackers to help you track your application and all of that. So the most important thing here anyways is that when you get interview invites, we have our facilitators are going to help you prepare for that interview. So you can always schedule a meeting with them and talk to them and tell them, okay, you're going to share the job description you applied for. Then we are going to ask you questions based off what the potential employer could ask you. Yeah, so that way you are one step ahead, literally, in terms of answering questions for interviews. So these are some of the additional packages that we add to what we're sharing at Tenalytics. And let me just give me a few minutes, maybe 3 minutes to delve deeper into the additional services that we have that helps us stand out in the training ecosystem. So the additional employability services, like I said, I'll just run through it because I mentioned some of them. CV reviews. There are CV review sessions. We help you check your CV, make sure it's top notch. You know, when you send out CVs, there is an applicant tracking system that filters out a very large number of CVs before the few ones that now get to the HR, and then the HR now select the ones that will pick from there. So for your CV to even get through the application tracking system, there are certain keywords that should be there. There are certain things you should write on your CV for the role that you're applying for. Yeah, so that we're able to tailor your CV to every role. So how do you do that? The CV review sessions is where you learn all of that. And of course, the LinkedIn optimization, like I said, what are the certain keywords that should be on your LinkedIn? What are the certain things? How do you actually write? How do you propose? How do you project your LinkedIn profile? How do you add your portfolio for potential recruiters to see and all of that? We'll teach you how to do that. Then Upwork also, if you're interested in freelance gigs and all of that, you can always jump on the Upwork. And how do you optimize such that people who are looking for short-term contractors can easily find you? We'll teach you how to do that also. Then the next is navigating the job market. So regardless of where you are, the job market can be different, can be a bit dicey in some parts than the other. So how do you navigate job markets depending on the location? So we also have sessions around that and teach you how to go about that. Then the job interview, like I mentioned, once you get an interview, you can schedule a meeting with us. We'll run through that job and ask you questions, potential questions that the employer might ask you. Then, of course, we have recommendation letters. So after the internship program and all of that, we are going to give you recommendation letters to apply, or when you apply for jobs and they are asked for it, we can always give you that recommendation letter. So imagine someone looking at your CV and seeing that, oh, this person has been an accountant all their life, but in the past 6 to 7 months, they are doing data engineering. Okay, their CV is good, their portfolio is good, but we need a recommendation letter. Tenalytics is able to give you that recommendation letter to say, okay, in the past 6 months, in the past 5 months, you have been heads down doing data engineering and you are good to go as a professional. Yeah. So the second level to that is the weekly mentorship sessions. This is where we now bring in people who are professionals in the data engineering profession, then also students, past alumni who have gone through the training program have become data engineering professionals also. We bring them for mentorship sessions. They understand where you are right now. They started with a call like this also, with a master class like this, before they delved into class and then move forward. So we are going to bring them back. They listen to you, you ask them questions, and that way you get a good grasp of what your journey is going to look like. And also, literally, mentorship is to help you shorten the time span for you to learn stuff. So that way, whatever it is they've learned in the past, they're able to point out to you in these mentorship sessions and make your journey a lot more smoother. Then, of course, we don't just leave you hanging when you get the job. Yeah, you can always reach back to us if there's anything that looks a bit weird or something you've not seen before in class, but then it comes up in your job. You can always come back and then we'll help you look at it together and help you sort it out. So that's the on-the-job support that we also offer at Analytics. So once you're able to do all of this, follow through on the CV review sessions, LinkedIn optimization, Upwork, navigate the job market, look at this. We are going to have sessions around that. You follow through on those sessions, you attend job interview sessions, you have your reference letter, you attend weekly mentorship sessions and all of that, including your classes. We can guarantee you that you get a job interview 1 month after completing a training program with us. I'm saying this again because there are two sides to the coin. There is the side of us having the training, carefully selected training, high-level facilitators, and then these additional employability services added together. Yeah, then there is a role that you have to play in terms of coming to classes, following up on all of these sessions, and when those two meet at the middle, then we can assure you that you can get a job interview at 1 month, at most 1 month after learning with us at Analytics. So there are new initiatives that we introduced in 2024. One of them is the Body Mentorship Hub. That one is basically students who have gotten their first job out of 10 Analytics. They want to give back to the community. So they come back in these mentorship sessions and talk to students who are in their own part also, who are learning from 10 Analytics. They understand where they are. They know they've been there before. So they are able to mentor you and help you learn fast also. Then the internship experience is also enhanced. Usually it used to be 1 month for data engineering and business analysis, but now you have 2 months long internship for data engineering, just so you are well molded and well cooked for the job market. Then, of course, like I mentioned before, there is a partnership we have with recruitment agencies. So our best students, we always push them out there to these recruitment agencies so that you can easily get your first interview, and we can easily vouch for you as a top-notch professional. So now let me talk about the scholarship that I said we're giving to 300 women and 50 men. So the basics is just that we want to inspire inclusion by bridging the gap. There is a large gap between the women in the tech ecosystem and the men in the tech ecosystem. So we started an initiative last year in terms of bringing women into the tech ecosystem. Last year, we launched it out for 300 women only. In the end, we had to take 320 women. Yeah. But we had a lot of feedback that what do we actually do for the men? So this year we decided to add 50 men and make it 300 women. So for the women on this call, I say congratulations to you. And this is an opportunity for you to begin your journey into tech. And for the 50 men, this has been running since last week. We already have some men already, and we have very few slots left for the men. So let me just move quickly and explain why we are doing this for women. Now, does anybody have an idea what's the percentage of women who work in tech right now? To be honest, as of 2023, women hold about less than 30% of the tech jobs globally. Yeah. And notably compared to entry-level roles, these roles higher up in the organic charts like CTO, head of engineering, they have a very low representation of women. Yeah. So you can see more of women in the HR, but in terms of core tech roles like head of engineering, CTO, chief technical officer, you have very low representation of women in those roles. Yeah. So now we also understand that the percentage of women in all tech it has decreased again in the last 2 years. According to Women in Tech Network, you can read this article. Once you get this, you can click on this link to read the article. Like it's going to take about 133 years to close up that economic gap, yeah, for women to match up with men in the tech ecosystem. 133 years, that's a lot. So what do we do what can we do on our own part? So we set out every March for the year, which is the International Women's Month, where we have the International Women's Day, that we are going to be offering a scholarship for women that to help push them into the tech ecosystem. Like I said, last year we started and we've seen a good number of women join, and some of them, their testimonials are here on these slides. You can check them out. This is the news about it on Punch newspaper, where we helped with 300 women land their role in their first transition into the tech ecosystem, and some of them went on to get their first jobs in the tech ecosystem. So we are trying to do more of this, and that is why that's the bone of contention, to be honest, in our conversations for the month of March, trying to move a lot more women into tech for the April cohort. So to join the next April cohort, which is starting on the 6th, our cohort starts the first Saturday of the month. Yeah. So how do you get in? You are going to make 50% of any of the training programs that is starting on the 6th. Ensure that you are part of the 300 women, and of course the 50 men. For the men, I think we've had about 25 already. So be a part of the remaining 25 to lash on this discount. The 300 women, we've had a good number also. Be a part of the list, then you start your journey into tech on the 6th of April. and then we take things up from there. Now, what's the discount amount that we're talking about? Yeah. So for a data engineer, our programs has been selling for $750 if you're in the US, $1,050 if you're in Canada, and £625 if you are in UK, right? So now that we have a discount, slash it by 50%. And this is the prices now. 375 for the first 300 women, 525 if you are in Canada, and then £313 if you're in the UK. So to make payments, just click on this link here, and then it takes you to the enrollment center where you can make payments. My colleagues on this call are going to share this link with you for you to make that payment, and your payment is a full payment. Yeah. Before now, what we do is for people to be able to get secure their spots, we split this payment, this 750, we split it into two payments for people to make that payment. Yeah. But now that we've slashed it totally by 50% just for this month, you can make that full, you have to make that full payment and make that payment once. At 375 again, if you're in the US, 525 if you're in Canada, and 313 if you are in the UK. All right. So the classes starts on the 6th of April. If you want to make payment, I'm just going to show you what the payment enrollment center looks like. And of course, if you're in Nigeria, just click on this link and go to the enrollment center. You will see what to pay in Naira. Or wherever you are, once you click on this link, it's going to show you the corresponding currency for you to make payments. So for the men, please hold on. Let the women take advantage of this first, and then we'll pick some of the men. But you can still go ahead and make your payments, and then you'll be notified if you're selected amongst the men that that will take part of this scholarship. But for the women, please do not waste time. We need to get a lot more women in tech, like I mentioned, and this is an opportunity for you to be a part of this. From next month, the prices go back to the normal price that will sell our programs. So like I said, my colleagues are going to share this link with you. I'm trying to see if I can just show you what the payment link looks like. Okay. What the payment link looks like so that you can I can show you how to make payments using that payment link. Sorry, 1 second, please. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. Let me share my screen again. So I'll show you how to actually make payments using that link. 1 second, please. So you can, my colleagues on the call would share that link with you for you to make your payment quickly. While we wait, while they get that sorted for us, I'll just show you again. All right, 1 second, I'm almost there. All right, so I was going to show you how to make payments using that link. All right, so I'm there now. Okay, so if you can see my screen, just click on this enrollment pay with main stack. All right, let me just do this. All right, so click on this link that says pay with main stack, and then that leads you to the main stack page. Let me see that load up. Please, if you have any questions, type them in the chat. My colleagues on the call will be happy to answer your questions. And of course, I'm also get to I'm also going to get to some of them before we end this session. Okay, let me just use my browser to go through that link and show you how to make payments. Yeah, so the network is really interesting tonight. So please use that link. I was going to show you how to make payment, but it's literally something that is straightforward. Is more like you're paying for any other thing you usually pay online. You get to the link. I'm sorry, you get to the page, visit the store. Then you see all the programs that we have. We also have data analytics, data science, we have HR analytics, we have financial analytics, we have Scrum Master, we have cybersecurity, then data engineering. Yeah, so they are all slashed by 50%. So once you get to that link, it already shows you the prices at the 50% discount, which is the International Women's Day discount. Then you can go ahead and make your payment. And once you make payment, take a screenshot of your payment receipt. Then you'll come back to this link. There is a point there where you say upload your payment details. It brings out a Google form. Once you upload your payment details on that, then our admission officer is going to pick up the conversation from there and send you your welcome kit, preparing you for the class on the 6th of May. However, if you're still not sure which program to pick, maybe data engineering is not best for you, maybe it's data analytics, maybe it's Scrum Master, or maybe it's cybersecurity, you're still not sure, just lash on the discount right now, make your payments. So when you upload the details, you can now select that you need to speak with a professional. So on Tuesday, we are going to invite you to a clarity session, a one-on-one clarity session, where you can ask your questions, take more time, ask questions, and do all of that. Then you can now decide on which program to choose. But like I said, because you have a limited slot for this, just make sure you make your payment quickly first. Then when you're uploading your payment, select I need to speak with a professional. Then one of us is going to, on Tuesday, we are going to send you an invite. One of us to take you through, understand your background, then help you to make that decision. We will not choose for you, to be honest, but we're going to understand your background, see where you're coming from, talk to you about it. Then you are going to eventually decide and choose what you want to do, either data engineering or any other program. All right. So I wish I could just run through this video to show you, but then I believe you can do that in your own time, or on your own network to put in better words. All right. I was going to show you a few more of our testimonials. There is some women that we've helped transition into tech. Let me just stop sharing this and play a video of one of our students who was a care worker in Canada. Yeah. But then after joining our program, she's been able to transition into our first role as a business data analyst. Those are one of the programs that we offer, business analysis. So let me just play a video for you quickly. Let me get it out first, then. So you can hear from the horse's mouth some of the women that we have helped to transition into tech. So if you have any question now, you can just let's have them, and I'll be glad to answer your questions before we call it a night, call it a day, depending on where you're listening or tuning in from. All right, I'm checking. Okay, Victor, you wanted the attendance form. I believe that's been shared. Okay, Moraki, I believe you're saying the program cost right now. So like I said, there's a discount for you to take advantage of. I'm trying to open one of our testimonials so that you see some of the women we have helped transition into tech, and now you can also be a part of that, and that how that can also be your own story. Just give me a second. While we go on that, you can go ahead to make your payment, and if you have any issues, my colleagues on the call are going to assist you in terms of uploading your payment receipt and also holding your hands through the registration process to get your welcome kit and start your journey by the 6th of April. All right. Wow, the network is a bit interesting today. Can't even open YouTube. Just give me a second, let that load up. So in the meantime, I'll just check through the chat. If there are any questions, please feel free to type them in and I'll be happy to answer. Okay, what's the difference between data engineering and data analytics? Can you please explain in layman's terms? That is exactly what I'm going to do, Itwa. Now, let me put this, let me spotlight myself so that you can see me clearly and watch my lips and see how I'm going to explain data engineering, data analytics in layman terms. Now, a data engineer at analytics would usually use the analogy of a plumber, all right? A plumber is someone who is going to liaise with those who would dig a borehole, right? Now, let's say he digs the borehole, he gets the pumping machine into it, he pulls out water, he lays a pipe to link that water into a reservoir, yeah, where the water is stored. Then he now links the water again from there into the various sections of the house, to the kitchen, to the bathroom, to the swimming pool. You know, it does all of that connection, getting the water from the source, getting it into a storage, from the storage now moving it into different parts of the house where it is needed. That is what a data engineer does. Now, a data analyst now is now someone who now uses that data that the data engineer has sourced out and stored somewhere, and also created channels for it to be used. Now, data analyst is someone who now picks that data and now analyzes that data. So you're still using the layman's term from the plumber now. The data analyst now is now you and I that would now take that data, that tap, where now the water has gone from the source, from the borehole into a tank. Now the tank has linked into the house. We now open that tap, yeah, to get that water. You can now use that water to bathe, use that water to cook, use that water for different stuff. That's the data analytics. That's us. Yeah. But the person that laid all the pipes for the water to be stored somewhere and then easily accessible for us to use for cooking, for bathing and the likes is the data engineer. But we that now use that data to do different stuff, to cook, to wash clothes and all of that. We are sort of like the analyst. Yeah. And also data scientists also fall into that bracket also, in terms of people that now use the data that has been sourced and prepared and stored by a data engineer, who now uses them for decision making, for predictive analysis, for descriptive analysis, for diagnostic analysis. All right. Ito, I don't know if that helps. Okay, you can just drop a comment in the chat if that helps. All right. So that's the basic explanation in layman's terms. All right, awesome. So I have time. You're welcome. You're welcome. So I have time to answer a lot more questions. If you're there, just let me know. Whatever questions, whatever clarity you need to make you start your journey, begin take that decision now. I'll be happy to take your questions. And also if your questions are related more to data engineering and you need a professional to answer your questions, Dr. E is here and we'll be glad to take them. All right. So while you're on this call, please do yourself good and make your payments and secure your spot. While this session is going on, we have another session going on simultaneously for business analysis. We have for Scrum Master. So we are pulling in a lot of people into this conversation about the International Women's Day Scholarship. So the earlier you lash into the opportunity, the better it is. All right. So if you have any questions, please let me know. The payment link, if you need it, please. So you're asking if anyone with no programming skills do data engineering. Yes. Like I said, our courses are beginner friendly. Yeah. So regardless of your background, Dr. E was a pharmacist, yeah, before he delved into data engineering. So you don't have to have a tech background. You don't have to have any programming skill. Yeah, will teach you the basic programming that you need to get your job done as a data engineer. Yeah, there are a lot of programming languages out there. There are a lot of, even with Python as a programming language alone, a lot of people get to use it. Software developers use it. Front-end engineers use it. Back-end engineers use Python. But then what part of Python do you need as a data engineer? That is all that you get to learn. Yeah. So wherever your background, your background might not be tech related, doesn't really matter. If you don't have any programming skills in the past, it doesn't matter. But then the programming that you need to succeed as a data engineer is what you will learn, and that's what you're going to run with. All right. So like I said, most of our programs are, we call them no code. I'm sure you probably heard that buzzword before. No code and low code tech career paths. Those are the programs that we are focused on at Analytics. All right. So your background doesn't really matter. No programming skills, fine. You learn the basics you need to know to do your data engineering work. All right. iPhone. I wish I knew your name so I can call you by name. I don't know if I'm able to answer your questions. But if you have more, please go ahead and use the chat or raise your hand. I'm going to unmute you and then you can ask your questions. Okay? Meanwhile, take advantage of the discount. By next month, we go back to the 100% payment, which is a $750, $1,050, and then £625. Let me see if this has come yet. Okay. All right, I say I have about 20 minutes more on this call. So if you have any questions, any clarity, anything you need me to clarify, if you have issues making payments and you need some clarity, you need me to hold your hand through it, please make sure you do that and I'll be glad to assist. All right, so while you go ahead and make payments or have any questions, I would like Dr. E to, I think he needs to finish off a few parts of what he started. So for those who are still on this call and fervently interested in this data engineering program, please enjoy the next few minutes while Dr. E runs through what's left of what he was presenting. All right, E, go ahead, please. You can unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Okay, hi guys. So this was the code that we ran earlier, and this is the information that was extracted in tabular form. So it extracted in printed format. So I decided to now put it in tabular form using the code I showed you guys. And this is how it appears in tabular form for the first 30 rows. For the first 30 rows. Now, what I did was that just like how I told you guys, we're only going to extract page one. And that's what we did. We extracted just page one. So the next step is to view all the columns. Now, after looking at the first 30 rows, then we proceeded to now saving the file as Aliexpress laptops.csv. Now, when you run this, that is when this file here is created. It didn't exist before, but when we ran it, it was then now created. So to view the top 30 rows, we then now use this code to view the columns. So these columns you see. So it makes you realize that Python is actually quite dynamic. I can pretty much do anything with Python. Now, the packages that we're calling on to do all of this is the pandas package we installed at the very beginning when we imported pandas. Then if I wanted to now view this table now, if I wanted to like view a summary of the table to know, okay, the different data, what kind of data do they come in? Do they come in as integers, as decimal numbers or float, or what we call float, as text, or what we call string or object? So to view that, I use this particular code called df info. And when you run something like this, it will run that and show you what it is, the schema there. Then, well, afterwards, what we then now did was to like load this CSV file. This CSV file, we loaded this CSV file here. Sorry, let me just import all our functions again. Import our functions. So as our functions are imported, then we can load this file, that file that we saved, we then now load it here. So it loaded. Now, all this data that we built here, we drew what we call a structural schema for them. And that is what you are looking at here. Now, if you look at it very well, you see that our general table that we extracted directly from Aliexpress schemas, product name, price, the link to the store, the shipping price, extra discount, items sold, sales price, original price, discount percentage, and shipping fee. So this is how the raw data comes. But we're going to now need to organize it into what is better for storage. Because what you will see end up happening is that some products are likely to be repeated. There's likely to be repetitions across board. So what we're going to now do is to reorganize it into a form that is easier, that eliminates repetitions, and it's easier to store, save space, save storage for the company. And that is what we call the database model. And that is what we've been able to reorganize. So that's lengthy columns of one column of data that we call a denormalized form. We've broken it down into simple formats, and that is what is organized into simple table formats that is in this model. And all of this that we did and we're able to show pictorially, I'm now going to show you how we arrived at transforming that one table, one file into 4 tables and 4 separate files that you now see as discount, product, sales, and shipping. So let's go back to the code. So looking at it, you can see here. So for products, what we did was to get out the columns that we needed from here. That was the column. So we got that, the products, the price, the store link. And when we slice that out, we put it inside the function column to the separate table products. Then we added the product ID and we then rearranged it. We did the same for discount, extracting all the columns we need. Then we made some additions. Now look at the primary data. In the primary data, you're seeing things like what? Inside prices, we're seeing things like NGN. NGN is not a number, it's a symbol. So we had to now reclaim the data by removing this NGN from the prices. So that's what we did there. Now, if you also look at the discount percentages, you see that the actual discount is 65% in words, and there was an extra discount in some products, some extra discount. Like here now had an extra discount of 2%. Why some don't come with extra discount? So we had to now separate those parameters into individual places. And that's what we did here using this code. So we're able to extract all of those. Now, if you try and view this code again, you will then now realize that the code is different. So let me show you how the table looks. So if we look at the products table, let's look at the top 10 column, the top 5 column in the products table. You see that this was ordered. Similar thing for the discount. Let's look at the top 5 tables in the discount column. You see that all those NGN, we've been able to properly clean this data from where it was coming from, raw format like this, into a cleaner version that you can be able to now build analysis. What's the average discount? What's the average extra discount value and all of that? So similar thing we did for sales as well. We cleaned it up properly, and after cleaning it up, this is how sales looks like. So we now have the sales ID, product ID, the sale price, and the item sold. So we can know the number of items sold for a particular price. So they will also do the same for shipping, and you can see the information for shipping. So you can see which item is free shipping, which item was not free shipping. So you can be able to build your calculations and inference. Now, after doing all of that, we saved everything as CSV. That was what led to the creation of these CSV files. So just to show you that if I choose to delete all of these CSV files, let me just delete them. They are no longer there. Then if I run this code, you see it will recreate all of them back. Okay, let me run the one for shipping. And if I choose to run all this code, notice they all appear back. That is how. So once we've done that, the next step is to then now load this data into our database. And the database we'll be using is called Postgres, PGAdmin. This is the server that will house your database. Now notice that this server is empty. It's empty. Now I created this yesterday, so I'm going to clear off these tables now. I created yesterday when I was test running this. So you see that the tables are, I'm going to clear it up so that you see that the tables are empty. There's nothing there. So by you now running your code, we will not only create these tables into this database, and we'll then now load the data. So the beginning part of this code is where we'll collect the connection information for our server. But things like the database name, the database password, the server host or IP address, the port number, and the database name. So we then now use this to define the connection and the different parameters. They will create an engine that will be able to run and access that parameter. Then all our files that we'll be loading, we save them into it. They are different variable names. Afterwards, we read all those files into pandas data frame. Then we use this command to create the table and load the data into the table. So by running this code, you would have been able to take this data that is present here and created a table equivalent to this schema, this database schema. So you end up having a product table, a product table, a discount table, a sales table, and a shipping table, and you have your data loaded there. And that is what we did by running this code. So if you run this code, it take a bit of time, and you see confirmation, database, tables, and data have been loaded successfully. Now, if we come back here, remember we deleted everything here. Let's refresh it now. Voila, all the data are there. So now you try to view your data, and you see that your data is there with ease. All there. See the remaining data, they are just all there. So let's try and view the next one. Just view the first rows, and you see all that data, all there. So any kind of information you want to get from this data, you can get there. And this is how you're able to take a data from scraping it from the internet, transforming it, and loading it. Now, the network is a bit down, so I will not be able to automate it. But if we were going to automate it, all we then needed to do was to put all of these data codes that we wrote into what we call a Python script, something like this. So I create a Python script, and all the codes that we wrote from the very beginning, we're going to put them here. Now, the aim of this script is to automate the process. That is the pipeline. We already tested the codes. We know that the codes work. because we tested them step by step, step by step. Now we're going to automate it, and that is what we do in this Python script. So how do you automate the script? Simple thing you do, you can open any of the terminals. For me, I choose to open my Anaconda terminal. The terminal opens up, and what you then now do, you navigate to this file directory, this folder in your computer. So to get the folder, just come here and copy the path to the folder. Then go back here and change your directory. So change directory to where that folder is. And you open. So now we're in that folder. So if we want to view all the files in that folder, we can say pdw, or sorry, DRI, and we view all the folders. So this is the script that we want to run. And to run a script is very simple. You just say Python, and it automatically runs the script. Python, and then you say, you copy the name of the script that you want to run. So doing this, we automate the process, and you run it, and it will run. I'm not going to run it now because remember our network issue. We'll have a challenge scraping the data, and we'll get timed out. But this is how you automate. So by running this script, you'll be able to run this script in an ETL format, in a pipeline format that pretty much would automatically go to the website, scrape the information from the website, transform the information, build the relevant table, load the data into the relevant tables on the server, and you're good to go. And the beauty about it is that you can use some tools to make this scheduled so that it runs every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, every day. So if Amazon should update their website every day, you can have your company's website updated with the new updates of products, just like how you do. Think about it like your WhatsApp. How are you always able to get updates of information that happens when you switch off your phone and go to bed? Because there's a server on the back end that stores this, and it's always updating as messages are coming into your phone, so that when you pick up your phone, it starts flooding your phone with messages, and you see all of these things that it just happens. So this is pretty much an easy case scenario of how you run an ETL pipeline with scraping. If there are questions, feel free to ask me, and we can go into it. So thank you very much, guys, for being a very cool audience and following me through.
All right, thank you very much for that. We appreciate you coming back to follow through on what you started and finish it too. That was a very nice one. Thank you very much. So for those who are able to stay till this point, it shows how much interest you have in this program, the data engineering program. So why don't you just make that decision and make your payment, get ready to join AE in class for the April cohort. So pretty much everything you'll be learning is similar to what you just seen. Real life projects, real life example. The facilitators would run through the projects. You follow through with your own computers, and then if you have questions, you ask your questions. They would answer immediately. So that's the beauty of learning with some level of mentorship. And then you'll be glad you made that decision. Let me just share my screen one more time for those who wants to still see the cost of the training program. One second, please. Trying to get, sorry, one second. Okay. So let me just share this again so you see the payment, and this time you would also see for other programs also, if you're interested in any other program outside data engineering. So for the programs we offer, data analytics, data business analysis, HR analytics, financial analytics, full stack data science, data engineering, and cybersecurity. So the full payment is $750, but for the International Women's Day discount, you can pay half of the full payment. So this is the payment if you're paying in dollars, Canadian dollars, in pounds, and then in naira. All right. And for the Scrum Master also, there's also a 50% slash on the prices. So the IWD discount gives you 225, 318, 188, and then 270,000 naira if you're making payment. So you can click on this link. My colleagues will share this link with you. Let me just copy that now and share with you on the chat. So you make your payments and secure your spots in the April cohort. All right. So like I said, this is majorly for the women. So men, please let the women take advantage of this first, and then share with your friends, your female friends, your girlfriends, and then and their friends also. Then once they are good, you can now come in and take advantage. We are trying to get as many women into tech as possible. We did that with over 320 women last year, and we are pushing for 300 more women this year. So we can close the gap by inspiring inclusion of women in tech. All right, so I'm going to leave this on the screen for the next 2-3 minutes, then before we call it a day. All right, so if you need to take a screenshot, you can do that. And if you need the link, I said, you can just click on that link or get the link in the chat. I just shared that now. I'm going to do that, share it again. So you can use that link to make your payments. And once you make your payment, like I said, you take a screenshot, you go back to that link, you see where you can upload your payment details. So once you upload your payment details, you can then the admissions officer is going to follow up on your payments, confirm it, then you can you get your welcome kit and join Dr. AE and the likes of him in class. All right. Okay, so I'm going to keep this here for the next 2 minutes and open to answering questions if there are any questions or any comments, anything you need some clarity on. And once you're able to do that, I'm able to answer that question in the next 2-3 minutes. Then if there are none, then we'll call it a day. So I was going to show you some testimonials of people who have gone through our programs. Ikmat, yes, she's a full-time mom. From being a mom for the past 4 years, she decided to dive into the tech ecosystem. She was one of the beneficiaries of the program last year also, IWD scholarship. She's now a data analyst with NHS UK. She also got a full-time sponsor, full sponsorship for the role she got. Big guy in Poland also. Okay, let me just focus on the women. Ramat also was also a recipient of the International Women's Day Scholarship last year. And after only 3 months, she got a job as a business analyst in UK. I wish I could play some of these videos. Let me play Ikmat's video, see if. Okay, so there are a lot more women here that help transition into tech. Michael is a data engineer. We also have Idris Adebisi here. So you can see a lot of testimonials. Once you fill the form, the attendance form also, a copy of this video will be sent to you and also this slide so that you can actually learn more about or look at all of these testimonials yourself, just to see what the amazing work you have done so far with a lot of people. So I think this is what we'll call it a night. Let me just share the screen for the payment again. If you need to take a screenshot and make sure you make your payment as quickly as possible. All right. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for holding on to the end. Thank you for managing the network situation with us. I will really appreciate it. We do not take it for granted. For the women, again, take advantage of the discounts going on, and you'll be glad you did. In the next 2, 3 years, envision yourself being a data engineer, envision yourself being a data analyst. That vision will come to reality. Starts with a journey, yeah, which is taking active um, position in learning, and not just learning, but learning from people who have a structured way of getting you there. Like I said, we've done it for over 2,000 people, so you can join that number also and get into your first job in the tech ecosystem. All right, without further ado, this is why I call it a night or a day or a morning or depending on where you are. I close the curtains here. Thanks to everyone. Thank you for holding on to this moment and enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers. All right.